Let's shift our focus now to an issue of equal national importance, the submissions and revelations by the actors in the reinstatement of the Chairman Task Force on Pension Reforms, Abdul Rashid Maina. For some, it was indeed intriguing. Some have argued that it's a total script being played to further confuse Nigerians. One good thing has come out of it, though. The House of Representatives hearing, which is the admittance by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, that he reinstated Maina. Adejare Adebenro is a political analyst. He joins me in the studios here in Lagos. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on the show, as well as Ibrahim Garba, a political analyst. He joins me from our Abuja studios. Thank you to you as well for coming on the show at this time. What do you make of the submissions of Maina? Let's begin with that, because to whom so much fingers have been pointed to, it seems to suggest that there isn't a complete conviction and truth that is coming out. He has instead been mystical of sorts. What do you think is going on?
Well, evening, Gimba. From the information that is on the table, there's accusation and counter-accusation. And from looking at what the House put forward yesterday, it is still premature that we Nigerians should stand on a position, because there's allegation and counter-allegation. For instance, now, Maina is speaking through his counsel, and his counsel was punctured yesterday. Why doesn't Maina come out and tell us what actually happened? That's how I see it. We should not jump right now and conclude. It's still very premature, and a lot of things that is happening, I think there's still an undertone that is going to be revealed. So I indulge in Nigerians that they should be patient and let us see what is going to happen from this thing.
It is largely believed that this perhaps is a script that's being played by all the actors in this investigative panel by the House of Representatives. But is that your own views to this?
My own view is that there's a political undertone, but that is my own view. Until they come out, we will not know who the actors or who the actresses are. So it is pretty much, Gimba, that it is too early in the stage for us to judge. We don't know any actors so far. It is just said, as far as I'm concerned. That is my own view.
So if you say you sense some political undertones in it, could you explain?
Well, next year is what, Gimba? It's only natural. Next year is primaries. There's so many things that is happening too quick. And the way it's coming out, why doesn't Maina come and tell us the true position? Let us know. Why is he speaking to his counsel and say they want to kill him? Who wants to kill him? Let him come out and tell us. I'm of the opinion that until when someone is convicted, I will not judge the person. So that is my stand on this particular issue.
Garba, let's talk to you in Abuja. You've heard his own thoughts to this, but why then was that panel unable to see through that less than whole picture and able to identify, apart from the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior? Do you think that this is also a script that has been played out?
Yeah, thank you, Gimba, for having me this evening. I think I want to a little bit disagree with my friend out there, because in the first place, we shouldn't even try to associate politics with this, and we shouldn't even be in a hurry to say we can't even take a stand. Why am I saying this? Because there's a price for laxity. There's a price for you not doing the right thing at the right time, and when it's too late, you start jumping around. This is a clear picture of what is going on. In the first place, when when this administration came in, there was that expectation that, yes, there are certain key individuals, particularly those individuals that were involved in some certain sensitive assignments. What am I referring to? Maina's assignment was not just an ordinary assignment to the country. It was an assignment that had to do with recovery of huge sums of money. What should have been done by then? This government that is fighting anti-corruption, the moment it steps in, it should have focused much more on trying to review some of the reports done by individuals or groups or whatever institutions that had similar assignments. But you find out that, yes, you as an individual, you are fighting corruption, or you've been mandated to actually make recoveries, you'll be left alone on your own. It is when someone has interest in your case that you will now hear somebody coming out to say, let's look at what this guy is doing. I believe Maina's life was actually in a very difficult situation. I can tell you that.
So what do you think that the government is doing now? Because this is the government that wants to fight corruption. and it wants to fight corruption the whole hog. But it does seem to suggest that because of this minor gate, some aspersions has been cast on the war against corruption. Do you think that this case is enough to dent the perception of complete war against corruption for this government?
Well, Gimba, if you're looking at it, right, the present government that is in place has tried their best, and they're trying their best, and that was their key thing of fighting corruption. When you fight corruption as big as this, only thing we're seeing today is that corruption is fighting back. But we have to now help the government of the day to capture this corruption. Corruption will never be to zero. The president has zero tolerance for corruption. Corruption is fighting back so big, and we are all seeing it in the open air. So for me, it's for us to be able to assist the government to build on this corruption campaign. Because as far as I'm looking at it, it's like you having the foundation of a house. If your foundation is broken, like what the government inherited, and you now want to build on top of a broken foundation, obviously everything is going to collapse. The president is building the foundation, and let us take it from there.
But you know, people will say that you're just making excuses for the ruling party.
I'm not making any excuse for any ruling party. I am here, and I'm telling you as I see it from the public perception. How can we now look at it and say that, okay, this is this? There are so many things that the agencies are doing that is right that we can see. Now there's minor gate. Everybody now just believes that, you know, they are not fighting corruption. Who says they are not fighting corruption?
Okay, let me get your views, Ibrahim. To what extent has this seeming feud, for instance, if we're talking about the war on corruption, you do remember that the EFCC made attempts to arrest the former DSS Director General and trying to get into his house. That in itself was an action by the EFCC to try to fight corruption, and the EFCC acting chair has maintained that no one is above the law. What do you think is happening to the fight against corruption?
Yes, the fight against corruption is being challenged from within. I must say this clearly. What am I referring to? We all know, this is not news, that yes, there's a kind of faction within even the administration itself, that is within the cabinets of Mr. President. Certain individuals have positioned themselves based on the powers in their office to actually take side with some of their friends. And you expect that, yes, the fight against corruption should be should actually be done in such a way that should be. No. Unless certain individuals that have certain interest in certain positions be able to either neutralize their personal interest, or else those individuals should be removed from those positions. It's quite unfortunate that this is actually bouncing back on the integrity of Mr. President himself. And for us to be able to get this right, until the President is able to stand and speak to clear the air concerning the powers or the political role being played by some individuals in some sensitive positions.
Okay, well, let's quickly go on a short break, just so that we have a little time to take a breather. And we'll be back with more interesting views to this war against graft in Nigeria. Join us again.